Hey, Terry.
Hello, Vanda. How you doing?
Wait a minute, I gotta get the volume up here. Say something again.
How are you doing today, Vanda?
I'm good. I have static on my end. I don't know if it's gonna record like that or not. Um, so I was trying to log in on this old computer that I have, but it's just so slow. It's one of those Lenovo's,
Yeah, I got
and
one. I got one that's slow like that too.
it's really slow. But I'm hoping that the sound won't be bad when it's recorded. It's just playing out on my end statically.
Right. Okay.
So I'm hoping that's the case. And I got a surprise guest here.
Oh,
How about
but
that?
yeah. How about that?
He asked about you today.
Oh, really? I was looking. I was
So
looking.
I said, well, we are meeting. And he says, well, I want to be invited. So I invited Dr. Cam here.
Okay.
Welcome.
Yeah, that's a surprise. I was trying to get follow him. I was trying to find out what type of social media he was on, so I could get him on Facebook.
So you could do what?
Oh, here.
Right.
So, Mr. Terry, tell us your experience.
My experience, actually, do you want me to go into detail? You want me to tell you who Terry Richardson is? Pretty
That's
much.
what I want to know. Who is Terry Richardson?
Who is Terry Richardson?
Okay. I grew up in Southeast Texas, Port Arthur, Beaumont area. Uh, I had two brothers and two older sisters. I was the youngest of five. Uh, my dad, he shipped out. He was a seaman, and my mom, she uh, she worked in the restaurant industry, and then later on, she worked for the school district in the cafeteria. Uh, After I went into high school, uh, like I said, my oldest sister was 18 years older than me, and
Wow.
my sister that was next to me was 6 years older than me. So I was pretty much a surprise baby, I think. They didn't talk about it very much, but my mom was up in age when she had me, and I was pretty much an introvert coming up. I was a shy kid, uh, and my mom they kind of they spoiled, and I knew how to as I grew up, I knew how to manipulate to get what I wanted. My sister that was
At
six
least you
years older.
admit it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been able to admit it as I've grown older, and
Yeah.
matured. You know,
Yeah.
but my sister that was 6 years older than me, she kind of taught me the things that I thought my mom should have, been around, but she was providing for the family. And the first time I said my ABCs to my mom, it was over the phone. She was at work, but
Hmm.
those things kind of bothered me. I didn't have a man in the home. My dad was away from home, 6 months at a time. But he did what was necessary to provide for the family. When I was
Hmm.
younger, I resented that because he wasn't around. But I had to realize that my dad was doing the best that he could. I don't know how he came up, so he couldn't give me something that he didn't have, so I had to let him off the hook.
Yeah.
And as I got older, I was able, I had some resentments, but you know, prior to my dad dying, I was never able to say that I loved him. That was the
Mm.
hardest thing, because we never had that father-son relationship, but I realize now that I'm a lot like him. He was a man of few words, but he had a lot of love for his family.
Yeah.
And they instilled that in me to, we had a tight-knit community, and everybody looked out for each other. And I was a 60s baby, and I'm grateful for the community that I grew up in. It wasn't a lot of I didn't have a lot of uh, supervision. So I kind of did some things that were uh, that I'm not proud of. But we all have a
We
past.
all have.
Yeah.
We
So
all have.
I had to realize that that's who I was. That's not who I am today. But I'd gotten off on the wrong foot. So after I graduated from high school, I went into the military. I spent 4 years in the Marine Corps, and it instilled some discipline, some things that I needed, in life. And I wish that I wasn't so rebellious at the time, because I did I did everything and just didn't, cross over certain lines, uh, that would get me into trouble. But
Right.
I was rebellious at the time, and after 4 years, I decided that the military wasn't for me. I was a late bloomer. I didn't excel in school, and it's not that I wasn't intelligent. It's just that I'd gotten in. Uh, I looked for. I was the people pleaser, So I
Right.
just kind of got into crowds that, I wanted people to be okay with me, and that allowed me to get into to some things that, you know, I got into, a few scrapes with the law. And
Right. It's okay.
when I went into the military, that allowed me to, get a handle on things, and, be more responsible. You know, I got married after I got out the military, but, I did it for a lot of the wrong reasons. Like I said, my mom was the old-fashioned type, and when I came back to Texas, me and this lady was staying together, and my mom gave me that. It wasn't right for us to be living together. So I went back to California with that on my mind, and I gave her a ring, and thinking that it was going to be a long engagement. And after I gave her the ring, you know, her and her sister, they started making plans, and me being the people pleaser that I am, I just I just kind of went along with it. But in the
Right.
back of my mind, I wasn't ready for marriage at the time, but
Yeah.
I just did it for a lot of other people. And
Yeah.
needless to say, that didn't last. And I came back to Texas. We separated, and we eventually got a divorce. And but I stayed with my sister for a while in Houston, and then I got my own place. But I didn't go back to college until I was probably in my late 20s, and I went back and got my associates in computer maintenance. And but let me back up a little bit. Some of the African American males in my community, I knew of two realtors, and one was on the city council. Well, both of them were on the city council, and they seem to be doing pretty well. And that was always a dream of mine to, you know, own properties, and be able to help people that were struggling, because we never learned about uh, financial management. The money thing, it was never
Mm-hmm.
talked about in our family or in our community. We never learned it, and I didn't learn it in school. And so it was kind of difficult once I got into real estate and started hearing about the different financing. It was like they were
Mm-hmm.
talking a foreign language, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized that now, we have to educate our people and people in our community that don't know,
Mm-hmm.
and we can't be afraid to say that, I didn't learn that, or I don't know that,
Right. Mhm.
because it's people that can help us along the way, but we have
Mhm.
to be willing to open ourselves up to be vulnerable, and just state where we are, you know.
Mhm. Mhm.
But that's how I got into it. After I got out the military, I went back to college, and my mom, she suffered from Alzheimer's, and back in 2007. So I was living in Houston. I don't have any kids, and I don't, uh, I wasn't married. And my mom, she sacrificed a lot for us. So, I went back home to care for my mom, and I started buying a house when I was in Port Arthur in 2013, I think it was.
Mhm.
And I didn't have any flood insurance. And when Harvey hit, my mom had passed away. I feel like I did what I needed to do, in caring for her. So I moved back to Houston and started over. But my real estate license was inactive. I always said that I was gonna hold on, because you never know, you know,
Mhm.
when you might need that. So I said when I did get back into real estate, it was going to have to be on a full-time basis, and I had some disability through the VA.
Yeah.
I got hurt uh, when I was deployed, and I tried to get my disability back when I initially got out, but they turned me down, and it's just a bureaucracy with the VA.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to navigate that system.
Mhm.
So with the social media being so prevalent, I was able to get with some people that were able to help me navigate that system as well. And after like 30 years, I was able to start getting my VA, and that was kind of the cushion that I needed to be able to you know sustain myself once I got into real estate.
Mhm.
So that's
Mhm.
pretty much where I am today. I was able to get up to 90%, and I'm still striving to get to that 100%.
Right. Right. Right.
And just a couple of weeks ago, I got some bad news. I I got diagnosed with prostate cancer, and but I knew that it ran in our family. So my dad was diagnosed with it, and his brother. So I've always had that checkup every 6 months,
Mhm.
and so hopefully we were able to catch it early. I'm
Yeah.
going to start a treatment probably in the first of January. I've start going forward in that treatment process and
Good.
doing the test to. But I think that is my platform to and tell other brothers that how important it is to get ourselves checked. And
Yeah.
any let our families know that we don't have to be silent about it
We
and
don't.
not want to talk about it, because that's the
Right.
way it was in our family. We didn't really want to discuss the health issues and especially the big C,
A
Absolutely.
lot
but
of families are
Absolutely.
like that.
Yeah.
yeah,
A lot of
but
families are
I
like that.
but I believe you take when you talk about things, you take it can't hurt you. You know what I'm saying?
No.
You take the whatever sting it might have. It it can't hurt. When I talk about things, the demons in my past, you know, I'm okay with who I am today. You
Good.
know, and that's pretty much in a nutshell who I am. I'm
That's Mr. Terry.
all about trying to help people, because I know that I've had some struggles,
Hmm.
and I can't keep what I have unless I give it away. And you know, that's the experience that I've had, the life experiences.
That's what life is all about, helping each other and sharing experiences that can help somebody else.
Right.
Absolutely. Mr. Terry, I will tell you, thank you so much for the opportunity first to have met you, right? I've seen you,
Right.
you know, you've seen me on shows and different
Yeah.
things. I will tell you, one of the people that Genuine, the artist Genuine, and he stays in the back of my mind because of everything. He was the one. He said, Dr. Cam on the show, he was not, he deals with he battles mental illness, which is depression.
Right.
And so many people did not know that until they saw my show. You have to see that interview. It's housed on YouTube, all of my interviews. But he talks about the fact that, first of all, the interview, you will see him in his, in his car, because he had to go pick up his kids. He has 7 children. I thought he had 5. So he talks about that, and he talks about mental illness. But to break down what he said, even like he said, he's a celebrity, but many times he'll be sitting at a stoplight and just start crying.
Yeah.
And he talks about that his dad killed himself over suicide, and I think his mom had cancer. But just to go back to what you just said about your testimony, I had a friend of mine who told me that he had prostate cancer, but he was battling the fact, and Ms. Vanda, you may have to close your ears on this one. He didn't know if he could perform, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I told him, you go and you take take your treatments, you're going to be fine. Through his treatments, he was fine. Through everything, he was fine. 6 months later, functioning, no problem. I tell anyone, we have to tell our story. We have to tell our story to each one, because someone is going through that same thing that we're either going through, or we need some help in understanding if someone else is going through it. Because once we tell each other, we're able to tell the goodness of what happened.
Right. Yeah. And that's the way I look at it. Everything happens for a reason. God had brought me this for me to, not talk about his goodness and what he's done for me. I didn't do it by myself. I'm not a religious person, but I'm definitely a spiritual person.
That's all that's needed.
Yeah.
Right.
And I have to. Someone needs to hear my story.
Yes. Yeah. They have to hear your story because you look like them. You're relatable. People see you, right? So they believe Terry. They may not believe the doctor. They may not believe anybody else. But they'll believe Terry to go to the doctor, go to get it checked out, go to someone. And that's what's needed. And your story is your story. And I tell everybody, write your own story. Don't let anybody take that pen and write it for you, because it's not their story. It's yours.
Exactly.
So I appreciate it so much. Thank you for that. And like I said, on tomorrow, Ms. Banda, we will be talking about, first-time home buyers. We'll be educating people, because so many of us we're paying $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for leases. And that's okay. But if you want long-term, they need to understand there is availability. There's a way to do it. And I think the fear is out there that it's not.
Yep, if that's what they want. If they want to be homeowners, everybody doesn't want to be a homeowner. There's some responsibilities that go with it, and some people just don't want that. And that's okay. But those who do want it, we can definitely help them get there. We just have to map out that roadmap and see which program is best for them. And then we can direct them to the person who's the expert in that program and get them there.
And I think that's why so many of us are not there, right? It's over, I think, over maybe 50% or 60% of African Americans, I'm speaking of African Americans, that are not homeowners. Because we think that there's just no way for us to be one, with the situation with our credit, the situation with whatever the background is. Many people are generationally have leased. I had one of my clients, she was 62. And that's when my first year, and she said, Cam, I have never even thought about being a homeowner because she was on Section 8 at the time.
I
And
was
there
going to
is a
say,
program. There's
that's
a
one of the
program
programs
for,
we're going to talk about tomorrow.
yeah,
Section 8
and she was
becoming a
a
homeowner.
Metro bus driver on Section 8, Metro. She was on Section 8 and had been, had an excellent job. She had been on it and she had just stayed on it for their whole lives. It's not just her, but I mean, her entire family was the ones. And after we got her house, her whole family came to me. And that's really just the education because they believe, hey, if Cam hey, y'all all got to use Cam. Y'all can't use nobody else. Don't go to no store, don't go see no houses, even the brand new houses. The salespeople would call and said, hey, they can't talk to us and fill out nothing. They said, we got to call you.
Yep.
But that was the education. I was able to
Right.
move all that. And she broke that generational curse of just the thought process of them not doing it. So yes, people, anyone that even if they're on Section 8, they can own their own home.
Mhm. Section 8 should be a stepping stone, not a destination.
Right.
And people don't know it. They just don't, they just not have a clue of what they need to do. Truck drivers were another, even though they were independent truck drivers, a lot of them being 1099, they didn't know they could get a home. Because back in the day, you stated, everybody went stated. And we just stated whatever we wanted. Hey, we work at McDonald's with a manager. In 2005 and 6, if you could breathe, you were signing some kind of contract, right? So those things, different things have changed. But yes, Mr. Terry, you are an absolutely amazing person. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that. We already know that treatment and everything is going to help. And hey, this is going to be their testimony.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to help you reach more people too, because when you go for your treatments or wherever you go, you're going to tell everybody that you're a realtor and you can help them if they're buying, leasing, or selling or investing.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Or want to read, like they say, like selling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because estate sales are really, really big. A lot of people just don't know. They're holding on to properties that their families may have. They don't know what to do.
Yep.
So I appreciate it. Miss Vanda, I'm going to let you stay on here with Mr. Terry, and I'm going to drop off. I appreciate each one of you. Miss Vanda, if you need anything, both of you. Mr. Terry, I need your email. So, Miss Vanda, give me his email. I need to send him the link unless you have it. You send him the link. It's the same link.
It's his first name dot last name at exprealty.com.
At EX. Okay, I'll send that over to him.
All right. We'll talk later. Tomorrow.
Okay, later. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.